long stream ahead of us. Why is not my live? Something's off. What the hell is up with the YouTube count thing? Video input, per canvas tags. Wow, what a melt. Wow, what a melt. That is ridiculous. Wow. I am pretty pissed I got stopped out. Yeah. It is pretty ridiculous. All right, well, I got stopped out of this order right now. What would I be expecting? We have a new 15-minute candlestick. I mean, obviously the wick fill is what I usually anticipate, especially when there's momentum going towards one side. So the wick fill is basically what I'm expecting right now with this 15-minute candlestick that just opened. I mean, this hourly is so fresh. This hourly is so fresh. I see it breaking lows. I mean, I would be surprised if it flips bullish. That would be crazy to see this hourly flip bullish. There's 45 minutes left in it. You know, like in 45 minutes, where could this hourly candlestick go? That's the question we have to ask ourselves. As well as this 4-hour candlestick. This 4-hour candlestick is the same exact candlestick that we are talking about right now. 4-hour candlestick closes in 43 minutes. Hourly candlestick closes in 43 minutes. I mean, you know, they're going to probably range around a little bit, or, I mean, but something's going to happen right now. I wouldn't be surprised if it keeps on melting. I'm very upset I got stopped out by that. Is what it is, though. The Drake snake stopped me out. It's fine. Wow. Imagine this hits the floor and melts. That would be brutal. Dude, I thought my stop loss was placed so well. You were in buys? Jesus Christ. I mean, obviously, they looked good. The 4-hour looked like it. I mean, when this 4-hour candlestick was pumping, the one before this one, it looked great. Even though with this one, looked like it was making a bottom wick and it was going to get ready to explode. I loved longs for gold. It really did look good. Now, I loved shorts for my gold position when I was in here, and I obviously loved my stop loss, and I was off just by a bit. Just by a little bit, not too much. What's this daily candlestick looking like? I'm not thinking that the longs are too bad of an idea. I mean, we have a 50 SMA right here. Just like I said, chat, the one question I have to ask myself right now is, I mean, we all have to ask ourselves while looking at gold, is this hourly candlestick is so new. There's 40 minutes left in it. It's already huge. Retest to 2907, then back down all the way to 2900s. I mean, if it retests, I probably see this retesting aggressively, potentially even the 2912s. And yeah, I mean, I'd expect this hourly candlestick to close, however, leave a huge wick and everything to continue to the downside. We do have a great accumulation of this level of support, right? So price, you know, has a lot of bearish momentum in it. We could identify that. I got stopped out by some bullshit from the previous session, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah, at this point we just have to see and wait how this first, I mean, before the hourly, see how this 30-minute closes. This 30-minute here. I feel like this 30-minute, it's gonna close around where it is right now. Just right on top of this 50 SMA, baiting people to think either it's gonna go up or either it's gonna close and go down. Wanna what I need, boys? Say it. These never fail me. Little pillow talk. I got pillow talk in my walk. That is crazy. I mean, I loved the setup earlier when we took the sell. I mean, and we're back here in the same exact spot that we were before. So it's like, what do? Do I just replay the setup and now with a better entry, same stop loss? Or above that stop loss? Like, is this the move right here right now? It's kind of the vibe I'm getting. Because I was here already. Price was already here. We just, market closed. We lost the momentum that was here. Now the trading momentum is back. Obviously, boys, make sure you guys are aware. We are here for the President Trump speech. Now, where I will be watching that President Trump speech. The Trump speech is in a few hours. It's in 40 minutes. Oh my God, this trade could go to the moon and this trade could go to goddamn hell. Trump is gonna speak. Oh, it will not trade, but talking to the moon. See, I told you I expect a retracement to 2912 probably. Maybe even further. Oh my god. Bullish candlestick, continuation, continuation, bullish. Obviously, I always teach you guys that at major levels of resistance like this, we usually get a lot of the retail traders, the noob rookie retail traders, start trying to double bounce. RSI is getting hit. We need to sell. No, you guys need to follow what the momentum is telling you. If we've been at this resistance and we've melted out and now we're back here again, it's most likely because we need to break through, especially if we're bullish. That's exactly why I'm thinking at this level of support right here, we're probably going to break down through it. That's what my logic is telling me. We're here, we left, we're back. Momentum is probably going to go straight down through it. GJ's daily and 4 hour are looking good. Ugh, I need to sneeze. This is the daily for GJ. I mean, yeah, it looks good. Looks good. It looks like it's gonna pop. Looks like it realistically is gonna fly 100 pips right now. And what I'm scared about gold looks like we should be probably taking long entries, hoping that the news is gonna hit. We should clip this, everybody. Fucking probably take a fucking long right now. Swing it for when Trump starts speaking. Yeah, we probably hit some lows, make a huge wick to the downside. Eventually, we're gonna get the bullish. Told you I needed to sneeze. We got 3 bullish soldiers. It looks like we have a chance of getting 3 bullish soldiers here. And for this to just fly, I wouldn't mind doing that. But then again, this 50 SMA is a great target for sellers, and that's why it has me a little bit scared. We got 3 bullish soldiers. It looks like we have a chance of getting 3 I apologize. God bless me. I'm the Allah, or whatever the hell you guys believe in. Just I hate when I get like sneeze attacks. Like, what's going on right now? Thank you, bro. How you doing, Black? What is gonna happen right here? 30-minute candlestick closure. I mean, I'm feeling that 30-minute candlestick is gonna close. Next one is gonna open and then just go straight downwards momentum. But that was a huge bullish push. Markets are getting ready to start getting volatile because of this Trump speech. What is gonna happen right here? Oh my God, this thing is rocketing. 30-minute candlestick closure. I mean, I'm feeling that 30-minute candlestick is gonna close. Next one is gonna open and then just go straight downwards momentum. But that was a huge bullish push. Markets are getting ready to start getting volatile because of this Trump speech. Oh my God, this thing is rocketing. Let's see what this 30-minute does. Let's see what this 30-minute is about. I need to go to Trade Locker. Let's see what this 30-minute does. Let's see what this 30-minute is about. Open up my Discord. Is this a liquidity sweep or what? If it goes flying, major liquidity sweep. If it goes melting, I mean, that was just the obvious if it goes melting. Price action says it should melt. Is this a liquidity sweep or what? If it goes flying, major liquidity sweep. If it goes melting, I mean, that was just the obvious if it goes melting. Price action says it should melt. Slide down that block, let that thing go. Me and that booth, ain't no running from a Draco. Fuck, I hate it. We get paper that's a case closed. Okay. Alright, new 30-minute candlestick is struggling. I mean, it looked like it was going to go for the wick fill. Obviously, major 50 SMA here, which it could be a major level of attraction, just like it could be a major level of rejection. Okay. I mean, up to this moment, we're just playing it safe and seeing what ends up happening right here. Alright, new 30-minute candlestick is struggling. I mean, it looked like it was going to go for the wick fill. Obviously, major 50 SMA here, which it could be a major level of attraction, just like it could be a major level of rejection. We do have news coming in, which is the Trump speech will start at about 9 p.m. We will be tuning in and watching, seeing what major news he says. He says he has a very important news to drop for us. He says that, I mean, obviously yesterday the trade war started, as they so call it, as Trump decided to impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico, 25% tariffs on all imported goods, and another 20% for China's. Canada responded with the same tariffs right back at us. Mexico is trying to fix relationships with us. Japan has a scheduled meeting for later this week because they want to avoid any future problems. Nonetheless, Canada, they're trying to fucking stick it to the man, make him seem like he's a very bad person, like he's trying to work with Putin. And he said, boys, you guys think that was big news? I got some major news for you guys tonight. So let's see what the fuck ends up happening with Mr. Trump here. Oh shit, GG with a major retracement. GJ with a little bit of a retracement. Is this opportunity hopping along on GJ? Is that what we're gonna do right now? How's GU looking? All right, what is the majority of the chat thinking right now with gold? You guys think that gold's gonna recover right now and hit like the previous highs? You think that gold's going bullish, or you guys think that gold is gonna end up wick filling this huge wick that we have left right now on the hourly candlestick? 4-hour candlestick closes in 22 minutes, boys. Keep that in mind. 22 minutes, so this 4-hour candlestick closes as well. Candlestick closes in 22 minutes, boys. Keep that in mind. 22 minutes, so this 4-hour candlestick closes as well. It's like the market knows what Trump's already gonna say, bruh. All right, so this is the daily outlook for All right, so this is going to be an overall analysis of the market, basically main pairs that we trade and what we're going to be looking for in these next coming sessions. Currently, we're looking at the daily candlestick chart. We'll pull up the weekly real quick for GBP JPY. Have a bullish week, right? We were coming off of a lot of bearish momentum in the last few months, to be honest. When I pull out this daily chart, we could probably recognize doesn't look like a picture perfect wedge, but this is some sort of down channel wedge formation that we have now started to break out of, right? if we were to go and zoom in and start seeing what we were actually looking at when it comes down to the 4-hour channel chart, when the 4-hour candlestick chart, we see that we have a little bit of a down channel, side channel, up channel, higher time frame. I mean, it's kind of forming the same thing, right? We're coming out of this little channel that we were in after these coming bullish days. I mean, we had a bullish candlestick break the 8 SMA here. Then we had another continuation candlestick. These daily candlestick, this is what we call a continuation candlestick, followed up by liquidity grab. Nonetheless, it ended up flying. When we actually see what actually happened with that liquidity grab, I mean, there was 2 of them. We had a range which we were in for about, I don't know, maybe like 3 days, and we came to the bottom of this range and actually broke it, because this level was more like this, and we actually broke the level of this range with a lot of liquidity, because we dropped all the way from the top. After that, we actually shot ourselves all the way back up to resistance, and this is actually where one of our live streams we ended up taking a swing long and ended up actually hitting after like London session ended and then New York ended up happening. Regardless, this was a strong bullish sign for me. This was a strong bullish sign for me. Nonetheless, faked everybody out with a huge melt out all the way back down to the support. At this point, market is just manipulating people. It's looking for liquidity. It's doing what the market does. What you least expect to happen ends up happening. Once we got back down to this level of support, I was one of the people that were thinking, hey, we got down here for a reason. Might reject, but I think we're going to go bearish. Completely wrong. We're back at this major level of support. And it just confirms my bias that, yes, this was a down channel, side channel, and now we're starting to form a up channel. Yes, we could have a major retracement at this level of resistance. Do I think we will? Probably not. I feel like this is where we're going to catch a lot of the retail traders that end up, you know, thinking that their RSI is overbought and they ended up taking sells here. Might retrace a little bit, but I feel like we're going to fly through this level of resistance as we are, like we said, with a very strong bullish week. And that's across the board with the GBP pairs. I mean, look at the weekly on, this is the weekly candlestick chart on GU. GBP USD, we had a bullish week, continuation candlestick. We're followed up by a bullish week. Could we have a major retracement and leave a wick and then end up wick filling it the next week? Potentially. Up to the moment, we have to ride the momentum that is currently in the market. So, I mean, GU is currently still in a bullish trend. Yes, we understand that there could be a retracement. Do we want to be taking those sells right now? Absolutely not. It's a lot harder to time those sells. We're better off waiting for the retracement to come and trying to catch the continuation, right? Right, the momentum that actually exists here, which is the bullish trend. Gold is doing what gold does, right? Gold finally started going through a little bit of a bullish trend again. We went through a little bit of a retracement last session. This is the 4-hour candlestick chart that we're looking at. Basically, a liquidity grab. That's the way I'm looking at it. Huge melt out, broke all these major levels of support. Zapped back up. Yes, we are currently still in a range, whichever way you want to look at it. We can go to smaller time frames and see that we're in a range. Nonetheless, I think that we're going to keep on riding this upwards momentum right now. Potentially, we keep on retracing as this hourly candlestick is leaving a huge wick right now, and it looks like we might, if we end up closing this hourly, I could see us wick filling and continuing a retracement. But when we're talking about higher time frames, I mean, I love going to the daily candlestick chart. Candlestick recovery, bullish daily. I could see the third candlestick being another bullish daily candlestick. 3 bullish soldiers. Candlestick formation, everybody really knows. So the hard part's going to be trying to figure out, when is this going to bounce? When is it going to continue going bullish? Is it going to continue going, you know, is it going to break this low, keep on, you know, maybe hit a 50 SMA, then fly? But we do have a major catalyst coming up within 15 minutes, which is President Trump is going to speak. So markets will be very volatile. We will see what ends up happening across the board. I mean, yeah, with the way that things are going, I'd be majorly bullish on GBP pairs, and truthfully, I'd probably be bullish on gold as well. And I'd continue with the negative, with the being bearish on the DXY. DXY is probably going to continue being bearish, and which means, you know, buy everything that has a dollar pair. You know, buy GU, buy sell UJ actually, buy gold. And yeah, boys, make sure if you guys want to trade live with me, you guys go catch me on the next live stream. We trade daily, multiple live streams, multiple sessions. It really just depends on when the market's pumping, as we do this full time. So boys, hope you guys enjoyed the quick analysis that we had. Catch you on the next stream. Peace. And yeah, boys, make sure if you guys want to trade live with me, you guys go catch me on the next live stream. That wasn't for you guys. That was for like a little YouTube video. Multiple live streams, multiple sessions. Really. All right, so now I got that video down. Now I need to figure out how the hell I gotta do the second part. Where's the chat now and drawdown? Alright, what's going on here? Some ugly candlestick formations we got going on. Let's try figuring out where we're gonna watch this speech.
One ticker, one trade every week. Hey, millionaire trader Nate Bear here, and today I'm going to demonstrate how you can trade just one ticker once a week for monster gains. Forget about being glued to your monitor all day or searching through thousands of stocks. This involves one ticker, one trade every week. And let me tell you.
Gentleman from Utah, Mr. Moore. The gentlewoman from Indiana, Mrs. Houchin.
Oh shit, I need to fix the headset.
Oklahoma, Mr. Hearn. The gentleman from New York,
Elgato.
The gentlewoman from Massachusetts, Miss Clark. The gentleman from California, Mr. Aguilar. The gentleman from California, Mr. Liu. The gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Nagoose. The gentlewoman from Washington, Miss Delbene. The gentlewoman from Michigan, Mrs. Dingle.
The President of the Senate, at the direction of that body, appoints the following senators as members of the committee on the part of the Senate to escort the President of the United States into the House chamber. The Senator from South Dakota, Mr. Thune. The Senator from Wyoming, Mr. Barrasso. The Senator from Arkansas, Mr. Cotton. The Senator from Oklahoma, Mr. Lankford. The Senator from West Virginia, Mrs. Capito. The Senator from South Carolina, Mr. Scott. The Senator from New York, Mr. Schumer. The Senator from Illinois, Mr. Durbin. The Senator from Minnesota, Ms. Klobuchar.
Yeah, how's the audio?
The Senator
Does it sound too
from New
loud?
Jersey, Mr. Booker. The Senator from Wisconsin, Ms. Baldwin.
The members of the escort committee will exit the chamber through the lobby doors.
All right, so you just heard the House Speaker there announce the escort committee, the members of Congress who will escort the president there into the House chamber. We
Hello,
have
hello,
some of
hello.
them here. Let's take this. Let's listen.
Mr. Speaker, the Dean.
Hello. Oh, hello. I'm trying to figure something out. One sec.
All right, so you've been listening there to the natural sound on the House floor.
Oh shit! Look, we got JD
Speaker and
Vance
the
on the
Vice
screen.
President, chatting away there. Austin Westfall still with me here in the Live Now newsroom. And we saw members of the diplomatic corps. Of course, we know that a lot of the picks that Trump has made to be ambassadors around the world, they are subject to Senate confirmation. We have not gotten their confirmations just yet, although most of the president's cabinet,
Fox
Austin,
News
has been Senate confirmed. We're still waiting
Live.
for two members. That's Elise Stefanik there. She's going to the UN upon Senate confirmation. And Lori Chavez-DeRemer, a former congresswoman herself, like Stefanik, going to the Labor Department. That confirmation hearing still to be scheduled here. All right, we have some more of these dignitaries coming into the chamber. Let's keep listening.
No, 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 no. I'm trying to watch a video because I hear myself, and I remember I fixed it one of the last streams, and I don't remember how I did it.
That's always a key feature of any presidency is can and should a president appoint members of the Supreme Court
Hello.
if such a vacancy should arrive there. Of course, we know in Trump's first term, Austin, he got 3 Supreme Court vacancies here. We'll have to just wait and see whether or not he gets any in this second term.
We will. And you know what we'll be watching for tonight? And I was speaking with some folks earlier today, and there were a lot of things that people are going to be watching for tonight. As we just saw some of the justices arrive, I think we noticed that a few of them were not there. Justice Sotomayor did not appear to be in.
Hello, hello, hello.
Do you see any others missing? Ketanji Brown Jackson appeared to not be in attendance as well. So I believe we saw 7 out of the 9 justices, at least from that vantage point. We'll wait to see if we can perhaps hear of any statements from either of those two as to why they are not in attendance today. But of course, there's a handful of things that are on people's minds. I mean, there's an infinite amount of things that the president can talk about during this speech. But Andrew, I mean, what you and I have been covering these past few days so closely has been the Russia-Ukraine war, that contentious meeting between Vladimir Zelensky and President Trump and J.D. Vance in the Oval Office, tariffs and high prices. That's something that we'll wait and see how Trump discusses that in his speech tonight. We heard of retaliatory tariffs that are going to be implemented from Mexico, Canada, and China. Of course, at midnight this past midnight, just overnight here, we heard of the next round of tariffs coming into China, and then a 25% tax on imports from Canada and Mexico. So all 3 of those nations have announced retaliatory efforts. We'll see if Trump has a response to those retaliations. We're going to be talking about the shrinking government and Elon Musk, Andrew. I mean, that's something we're going to be watching for a lot. I mean, we had that poll up earlier today. We were asking the folks at home what they're most interested in hearing about tonight, and the Department of Government Efficiency is topping our poll. People want to know about Doge. They want to know how Doge is going to work and what Doge has planned for the incoming year.
Yeah, that's right. Austin, sorry to interrupt there. We do have, remember, some of these excerpts of the president's remarks. He will address the tariff question. He will also address the high cost of eggs. He will say this in some of these remarks. He says, as you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. He will say their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up the cost of groceries, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions of Americans. He will say we suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, or perhaps even in the history of our country. He will say, as president, I am fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again here. So to your point, the economy will be front and center. While we have this lull here, I think it's just worth putting this up yet again, Austin. Our poll question to so many of you watching, around 14,000 of you have already chimed in. The question we posed was, which issue would you like the president to focus on tonight? Tariffs, the war in Ukraine, border security, or Doge cuts? And an overwhelming number of you, more than half, want Doge cuts front and center. Of course, Austin, Elon Musk is in the chamber. So please vote even more. You can scan that.
I'll press play right now. What I do, well, Barca. I'm trying to figure out my audio problem that I got going on. Hello, 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 hello. I still hear it. It's ridiculous. Because I'm monitor mixing. Oh, no, stream mix. Because I hear my stream. Hello.
QR code or visit that URL there. Let's get back out to the chamber, Austin.
So, you know, one thing I wanted to mention, you might have noticed on the screen that we saw a number of elected leaders wearing pink. We're getting told that Democratic representatives are telling Time magazine.
Oh, I fixed it.
Pink is intended
I fixed
to
it. I fixed it. I fixed it. I fixed it. I fixed it.
quote, Trump's policies, which are negatively impacting women and
I don't hear
families.
myself.
So if you see a large group of folks wearing
That's
pink,
great.
it's a protest. Let's talk about something that we're going to be following
All right, we're back.
closely. Oh, and you know what? One more thing in the crowd to watch for. I read that Senator Bernie Moreno...
You guys hear me? Yeah, you guys do.
...will be handing out U.S. flags to Republican senators ahead of President Trump's speech. So it's very possible we'll see a number of American flags waving in the crowd when we see these applause breaks during the speech itself. After the speech, Andrew, the big talker is going to be the Democrats' rebuttal. We're going to be listening for Alyssa Slotkin. She's the senator out of Michigan. You see some pink there. So again, we're hearing that that's an act of protest. And
well, I was going to say, you mentioned that in that piece in Axios, Austin, that some of these Democrats will bring props, so to speak, to make their opinions heard. The House Freedom Caucus, remember, we were hearing from the chairman there, says that if there are any disruptions or interruptions or outbursts, that they will work to censure any of those Democrats there. And we have the First Lady, it looks like.
Yes, and I'll read a little bit more of what we heard from Axios. Democrats were floating.
Senior White House correspondent Peter Ducey, he joins us live from the North Lawn. Good evening, Peter.
Good evening, Brett and Martha, and we have just received our first excerpts of the president's address tonight. If he sticks to the script, he is expected to say, Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control, and we are working hard to get it back down. He will say, later this week, I will take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA, and he will say, whatever they tariff us, we tariff them. And we can also confirm the viral tweet that was going around that the comms team here at the White House has been getting ready for tonight with a callback to the campaign trail and their boss's trip to a drive-thru with McDonald's. Brett, Martha.
So we're getting ready for the president to walk in. At that point, you'll hear from the sergeant at arms who will announce the president. You see members assembled here as they wait. Vice President J.D. Vance, it's his first time up there on the podium. Mike Johnson as well, or was there last year for President Biden's speech. So everyone is assembled. It's a joint speech to Congress rather than a State of the Union because it's so early in the term. But as we've been saying, President Trump feels, and rightfully so, that he has quite a few things to list when he gets up there in a few minutes.
This is only the second president to do a second joint address, the other one being Grover Cleveland. As you see Nancy Pelosi, House Speaker Emeritus, they call her, sitting next to Steny Hoyer there, wearing the pink, and they are unified in their pink outfits tonight. We don't know what's going to happen with Democrats, as Harold mentioned earlier. Let's bring in our panel. Fox News Chief Political Analyst Britt Hume. Dana Perino is co-anchor of America's Newsroom, co-host of The Five. Harold Ford Jr., former Tennessee congressman and co-host of The Five. We have a lot of those. And Larry Kudlow of Fox Business. Larry, let me start with you. Obviously heading into this speech, tariffs is the big talk of today and what it means for the U.S. economy. We assume as we're waiting for the First Lady to walk in, as she does right now, Melania Trump. What do you think about this moment and that economic issue?
Well, I think there's a lot of talk about modifying the tariffs that were slapped on Canada and Mexico today. It's a bit confusing. That's what Harold Lutnick told me on our show. You and I talked about it on your show. I don't know if the president will address the tariff thing directly. Look, I'm hoping that he has a big sort of unleash prosperity here. His whole program, cut taxes, deregulate, DOGE budget cuts, including better trading tactics. I want to see a growthier message from him. I mean, it's going to be very optimistic. It's going to be upbeat. It's going to be very positive. But on the economy, his program has to be presented in at least some general way so that people know where he's headed. He's got to have growth. He's got to say, I'm going to fatten your wallets to middle-class people.
As you look at the president's cabinet walking in right now, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, and behind him, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, all the cabinet members walking down, doing their meet and greet along the aisle. And we'll see that from the president in just moments.
It's remarkable how many of these cabinet members were affirmed so quickly. There's Pam Bondi, the Department of Justice, and Pete Hegseth, Secretary of Defense, all looking happy and excited for this big night as they await the president's speech. They've been very busy. These people have fanned out all over the world in many cases and have gotten right down to work eliminating DEI programs and being, also the subject of some pushback in many ways. There's Robert F. Kennedy Jr. entering the chamber right now, HHS, dealing with the measles outbreak.
Dana, a lot of State of the Union addresses.
JFK entering the scene.
But essentially takes the form of a State
I
of
mean,
the Union address.
RFK.
They're
Just
mostly
get
like
JFK.
laundry lists or shopping lists that a president wants from Congress. We're told that this process was a little upended this time and that each one of these cabinet secretaries smoothed out, was a little bit quicker as far as getting this speech together. You've been through this process.
Well,
The second you enter the cells, Lyle, that shit popped on you.
something in the speech, because then they can go out and market it and sell it. Now, this is a huge audience for the president tonight. One of the things that might be a little different from day to day is that it's not just political junkies or supporters or opponents, right? This is a big, broad audience. But he also is going to talk to Congress, and I think it's very important that he be clear in what he wants the Congress to do in order to carry out his agenda, do what Larry just said in terms of the economy. And also, I'm very curious, two things. One, that all of these Democratic women decided to wear pink tonight after last night they decided to vote en masse against protecting girls' sports. That is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
The other thing is, it's like the president is going to be able to announce that actually the border is now secure. It only took 44 days. Are the Democrats going to applaud for that?
Yeah, we see Kristi Noem walking in. Spoke with Tom Homan earlier today. Obviously, the president will tout, herald the success that he's had at the border. The numbers are extraordinary. It's down 98% from where it was under President Biden. It was such a glaringly obvious issue during the election, and Democrats pretty much dug in.
It was an issue the president won on and continues to win on. It'll be interesting to hear how the president talks about the different budget blueprints from the House and the Senate. But I do think Larry touches on something that the president, I hope, focuses on in his speech for his sake. You've got to figure out how you grow this economy for everyone. The stock market's taken a little bit of a hit the last 2 days, but that's the richest of the country that really looks to that. How you deal with prices for everyday people, how you ensure that their taxes are cut for everyday people. I'm going to be curious to hear how the president talks about that tonight and how he tries to reconcile or talks about how Congress should reconcile whatever differences they may have, that being Republicans in the House and the Senate, to advance some of these ideas and proposals.
I wonder out loud how much DOGE budget cutting will be in this speech, because actually it's polling very well. It's very popular. And it goes to Harold's point. It cuts back on inflation. It cuts back on the cost of living. He's got to, look, I think this is going to be a real top-down. He's not like cabinet secretaries making requests. I think this is going to be top-down, Trumpian, his closest advice. Here's my agenda. Here's my vision.
Britt Hume, the Democratic response tonight after this speech will be from first-term Michigan Senator Alyssa Slotkin. That's usually a very unenviable position because you're just coming after the president in this massive chamber. But I expect the economy is going to drive her speech later on.
Well, that seems to be the issue that the Democrats think they may have an opening on.
Bro, somebody needs to log Trump out already.
For people to start to turn against the president on the economy, although obviously the continuation of inflation is something they have to worry about, especially with tariffs in place, which have the effect of driving up prices normally. So there's some concerns there. I suspect she will point to that. As you point out, Brett, it's a very unenviable
Where's that
job.
veiny ass man?
Very few people have ever done it and had any impact with it. It's usually people turn the television off after the president's speech is over. They may listen to a little analysis, and that's about it. So I think it's a tough job for her. I don't envy her the task, but I expect she will focus on the
Hey, yo, chill, Lyle.
price of eggs in particular.
If you remember the response, it's usually for the wrong reason. So we'll see what comes of that tonight. As we're waiting for the Sergeant of Arms to bring in the president, the cabinet's still making their way down there. Tulsi Gabbard, the new Director of National Intelligence, Kelly Loeffler, the Small Business Administrator, and they're just chatting in the in the chamber there on their way down. They're running a little behind.
There's Linda McMahon, the Department
Yeah,
of
the guy just said they're running
Secretary.
behind.
It has been, and I think, you know, Majority Leader Thune, who we saw earlier today, it takes some of the credit here for getting
Get
these
this man out there.
through in such a
Trying to watch
timely
the speech,
manner.
bro.
When President Trump chose these people, there was all this backlash and, oh, these people will never get confirmed. But this is a president who won all of the swing states and won the popular vote, and it's really unprecedented to imagine that he wouldn't get the cabinet that he wanted. And this is a night for them to assemble as a group as well, as they listen to what the president has laid out for them. You know, Dana, as we wait for this, we expect any moment the president's going to walk in. But a quick thought on this issue of tariffs, which we brought up before, because this is a rocky issue for him to grapple with.
I maintain that I think that the sequencing was off. I feel that, I know that President Trump has talked about tariffs a lot, but mainly when he talked to a broad audience like this and during the campaign, it was about high prices, inflation, and the economy and jobs, the border, and crime. Tariffs are something that are going to be complex to explain to people. And so I think what could have happened is, why not wait until a speech like tonight to explain, dear American people, this is what I want to do and this is why. And it might be rocky for a while, but hang with me, be patient. Follow me. I want to persuade you to go with me all the way to this end point that I see. Instead, to me, it feels slightly chaotic. Maybe that's by design. I don't know. Perhaps I'll read in a book in 20 years that this was all a strategy. But I think that going back and forth, and then you have Republicans who will defend him on tariffs and then defend the pulling back of tariffs, and it's all genius. In the meantime, people who are looking at their 401ks, which they are accustomed to doing now, are concerned. And so the jury is very much out on this, and I don't know how much time he'll spend talking about that tonight, but I do think the sequencing on the communications on this was a little off.
He will say we have...
Just a quick point. I would have preferred a different sequence. I would have said, get your tax cuts done first, and then go for the tariffs. All right? The tax cuts really give people some monetary torque. As I say, it fattens middle-class wallets. There will be some belt tightening on the tariffs. I don't think it's going to be that bad.
This looks like it's going to go bullish right now, by the way. Next 15-minute candlestick right now. Well, this new 15-minute candlestick. That's what I call an SMA fake out. It's when we close beneath an SMA, but just right at it, so people think that we're going bearish nonetheless, and then it just breaks the SMA. Could be really with any SMA.
We forget that some of this speech, maybe a significant part, Harold,
Daily's respecting the SMA, but that's an SMA fake out. Oh, no, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. No, it's respecting it. Probably going to go bullish.
He was in Europe. He made a post today that suggested Zelensky is ready to go forward. And we may hear that President Trump is getting to that point, too, tonight on a Ukraine minerals deal that takes you to the next step in negotiations.
He promised a stronger economy, promised no taxes on tips and ending wars. People want to hear, I think, all of that. We were all alarmed last week. You had a great week last week, Brett, as you interviewed those three leaders. To see that meeting end like it did had to be disheartening for the president, both presidents. So if he talks about that tonight with some progress, that he can talk about a mineral deal being closer, I think it'd be good for him. It'd be good for our security guarantee, that architecture we built in Europe and for Ukraine.
So we hear the gavel from Speaker Johnson, and we are ready for the Sergeant at Arms, William McFarland, to announce the president.
That's Lyle's favorite model.
President making his way down the center aisle, and you see him shaking the hands of the Chief Justice, John Roberts. A significant moment there as he passes by Brett Kavanaugh and the other, Elena Kagan and the other members of the Supreme Court. Britt, you know, going down that aisle, we remember all of the people who used to pack into that aisle, including the late Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas. There are some, you know, people that just, this is their moment to shake the hand of the president, either party.
Yeah, and it doesn't really seem to matter too much how they feel at any other time about the president. There's always a certain number of members of the Congress who are selfie seekers, and they will crowd the edge of that aisle so that they can get themselves a picture with the president or shake his hand or be acknowledged by him. He is, after all, the largest figure at any given moment in our government, and at this point, I think in this particular case tonight, it's the largest figure in modern American political history, certainly at this moment.
He's shaking hands of some of the generals in the front row here, and just to keep in mind with the Supreme Court justices, he's got a couple of big cases before them right now about whether or not he can freeze foreign aid or fire executive branch officials.
Bro definitely got big aura.
Dealing with the Supreme Court quite a bit.
He probably got veiny ones also.
Spend some time with them as he makes his way up to the podium.
And he is nominating a new chairman of the Joint Chiefs, which is quite something as well, as he shakes those hands. And now as he gets ready to give the speech, shaking the hands of the Vice President and the Speaker, let's listen in to the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, his first joint address in this term, his second overall, and his fifth as President of the United States.
What it do, Dahlia?
Thank you.
All right, let's hear what this man has to say, bruh.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's a great honor. Thank you very much. Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States.
I got a crush on her.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Yes, sir. Hell yeah. Oh boy. That is a fact. Let's go look at gold real quick. Just want to look at gold real quick. Where's the markets? All right, where are we at? I mean, this daily on gold looks like it's going to recover. It's going to recover and fly potentially, unless we all get faked out and it just melts.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it.
We just gotta clap for everything he says. Like, can he?
The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 300.
Let's see what happens with gold. It might recover back to, you know, session highs, and then that just gives us a clean buy signal. Let's see what he has to say. He said he has big news today.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
So the thing is, in this chamber, they have all the Democrats. You see how you see how they're booing him? There's a bunch of Democrats in there. That's why there's a bunch of people wearing pink. The feminist Democrats, they're protesting. There's so like right now he's just gonna speak about what he wants to do, and then there's gonna be counter arguments after his speech by the Democrats. Nobody wants to listen to that bullshit, but just so you guys have context of what's happening here. There's a bunch of Democrats in here. It's you know, a whole bunch of senators, Republican and
On a map that reads almost completely red for Republican.
Bro, it was a blowout. We got every swing state. I don't know what they.
In modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an
Bro, they're not letting him speak. This is chaos.
point swing the most ever.
Bro, they're not letting him speak. They're like pissed that he's rubbing it in their face. That's what I was about to say. He's like glazing the election. He's glazing that now he's gonna shit on Biden. He's gonna talk a bunch of shit about Biden, and just the other people have to take it.
Small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded, a 41-point jump.
Yo, they're not letting him speak. This is crazy.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
Sit your ass down.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant at Arms to restore order to the joint session.
Yes, sir. This is better than fucking Saturday Night Live, man. We got all the Republicans on the right-hand side, all the Democrats feeling sorry on the left-hand side. Doge is coming after them. They fucked with the wrong person. They got a fucking autistic person coming after them, their asses now. Fucking Elon is that's the last thing you want. An autistic obsessed about you.
Take your seat, sir.
They're fucked.
Take your seat.
This guy's gonna get escorted out any second. I promise you. That guy with the stick.
To engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant at Arms to restore order.
Yes! Take him out! Oh, Oh, now you gonna sit down? No, he's out. That's why you came. Make your little sorry ass show. Oh, get your corny ass out of here with your stick. Man, people here coming here to make statements. We trying to hear Trump speak. Get your ass out of here. Order in the court.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record, to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive,
I think gold is dumping.
do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but
Fox News didn't show it. There's people in the crowd that have little signs that say false. So every time he says something, there's people in the crowd waving false. A whole bunch of Democrats came to basically protest. They have little false pamphlets out. Fox News isn't showing it. I'm watching it on a different stream, and that's actually it's the same stream. Yeah, I guess you guys saw it also.
The lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way. So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
Damn, I think everyone's just glazing Trump right now to get the people in the other room, mad that aren't glazing him. It's like the more they glaze him, the more the other people are just pissed.
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first day. And in that first term, we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job. And we've ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America. I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer.
Damn, woke money concepts.
We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important.
There's only two genders. We and she.
You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female. I also signed an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
Oh, I apologize for that. 1 second.
Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding. If you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer.
You're pissed. You're pissed, girl. Get your pearls out of here. Look at this farm girl.
What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us,
The common sense revolution. I love that.
common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen.
Never. Hear that, boys? You're
Among
never going to
my
let that
very
happen.
highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for.
And our eggs cost too much. And I've been seeing YouTube videos. If you take the eggs home and you basically can hatch an egg like a real chicken.
As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again.
It's not affordable. Goddamn, monthly expenses are like at $7,000, $8,000 a month, bruh.
Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control.
The eggs!
The egg price is out of control.
They're out of control, bruh.
To get it back down, Secretary, do a good job.
Yes, bring the huevos back.
From the previous administration. Do a good
Also, bring the price down of these goddamn Zins, bruh. Bring them Zimbabwe's down.
A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%.
90.
Pipeline construction to a halt and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Drill, baby, drill. See-oo. Drill, baby, drill. Go get that liquid gold.
The administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency.
Doge, baby.
Perhaps you've heard of it.
Doge. Shout out to Elon, baby. See-oo.
Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight.
Bro, they FBI, CIA, FDC, SEC, all these companies fucked with the wrong guy because they fucked for years with Elon Musk. Now they got an autistic man who fucking is on the spectrum, who fucking has all this power and is going to come after all those motherfuckers. They're fucked. You do not want a man that's on the spectrum coming after your ass.
Thank you.
That's what they got.
Appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that.
They just don't want to admit it. They love him.
The appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program.
Alhamdulillah.
$9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was called off by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? a $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring, $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia, $14 million for social cohesion in Mali, $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. Should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education. The most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud.
Yes, sir, Elon. Shout out to you, mother. Get everybody. Can we just have a round of applause for the brilliantness behind this autistic man? Don't give us that white power thing now. Just chill, Elon. He gets a little bit crazy.
Inflation and other things. Taking back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation.
Can this guy say something that gets the markets going?
Very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors.
Social Security is a big Ponzi scheme.
Believe it or not, government.
Back then in the day when Social Security was invented, people were expected to live 10 years past once they retire. You retire at what, 50-something? You retire at age 50. You get Social Security till age 60, 65, you would die. More than 60% of the people would die. Now people are living fucking till there's just the numbers don't make sense for the Ponzi scheme.
I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 1.
So it might be all fucking news to all these fucking white folks, but man, people like FX Lio, Tony Gold, El Barca, man, maybe even Dolly have enough street credit to know that people been buying dead people's Social Securities that are still running, and they be creating fake socials, and it's just a part of the streets, man. So we know that they got a problem with the Social Security system. But now, back then, when Social Security was invented, it was meant to pay out people for 5 to 10 years past their fucking, because people would work till they die and people wouldn't live long. Now people are living double the amount that they would live back then, basically, and they just have the funds to be able to pay all that people out. Also, President Roosevelt at one point signed an executive order that made Social Security a part of the federal income, which means that they're allowed to spend Social Security money. If they make $250 billion, they're allowed to spend that $250 billion.
160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby.
Why are they putting fake lies? Why would he just come up with these things? Why would he just... There you go, RFK. Papa's in for us, Poppy. I know you got one in there. I know you got a top pillow in there, maybe even 2. Double deck is fine.
To finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229. One person between the age of 240 and 249. And one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going. and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families.
There you go. Thank you.
And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for.
Let's look at the DXY real quick.
So while we take out the criminals, killers,
DXY, since Trump has been speaking, has continuously gotten a little stronger. Has not had a big dump yet. So the dollar is gaining strength.
The open border, insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country. We will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money. Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again. Any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax.
Our government is so divided, it's crazy. I mean, that's a good thing, I guess. You need diversity. But it's crazy how they can't really agree on one thing at least.
First term with it, a very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea, but that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was, and so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada, but we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American love the farmer, who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because there's goods that come in from other countries and companies. They're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military and frankly we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. Has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raised 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So
Gold looks like it might tank right now, but then again, with these news catalysts, man, shit goes crazy.
Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us. Very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much, and I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And
Thank you, Trump.
to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast. And I want to thank Tom Homan and Christy. I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are two illegal alien monsters from Venezuela released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order? Thank you very much. All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were
Damn, this guy
members of
talks
the
forever.
Venezuelan prison
Be right back,
gang,
chat.
the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took, and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation. posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bond. Good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. There's also departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. One year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest, and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law. I'm also asking for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer. But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago. Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America healthy again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January, little John and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
What a courageous woman she is. Yes, what a courageous woman. Americans are all so funny looking. All girls are kind of like...
Thank you. Stories like this are why shortly
I ain't
after
even gonna
taking
say it.
office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you. Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference. And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that Call of Duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a 6-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
Boom! This thing's getting ready to rocket. Oh shit, what the fuck happened to the Trump speech? Is that shit over? No.
Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason.
Alright, boys, I'm gonna get some rest so I could show up to early streams, see if we can get some volatility. This looks like it's gonna keep on going bullish. Hopefully somebody saw this when I called it out. I'm in this on some challenges that I'm passing, and it's looking good. 1,400.